Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Lone Wolf Challenge. In the last episode, Bandersnatch, in all his efforts to secure his home and banish it of Vankir's tricks, has finally succumbed to exhaustion and old age. He collapsed out here in the weeds and the darkness, but he's made a pretty stable pathway over to Berry Paradise, the place that only Thor knows of right now. So I'd imagine that his spirit is probably going to linger on. He's going to be a protective force, making sure that nobody ever falls victim to those carnivorous plants again. In some of his last days, actually in some of his last moments, he cracked open this final red fruit, so it seems to me this is about where he's going to stay. I like to imagine that any creatures who decide to wander this path are probably going to feel his eyes on them, as he watches them from a distance and ensures their safe voyage to Berry Paradise. I wonder if Thor is even going to feel that the most. He is probably going to jump at every last little noise out here. Those bunnies are going to be able to spook him quite easily. But we have a different situation over on the other side of the island, where the kids are trying to get Isra to safety. She only has 2 days remaining herself, and after she uses up this last bit of energy, she's going to be on her very final day. So they don't have much longer to get her to the camp, and to be honest, they probably fear to say goodbye to her too. Just like their own mother, and Isra was kind of the mother that they needed all along. She took such good care of them in their time of need, so now they feel like those roles have been reversed. At the moment, Sirena is a little bit too tired to call out for help, but I would imagine on the next turn, when she has all of her energy to spare, she is going to be singing loud and proud right on top of that stump, and that should hopefully alert our healers that they need some help. Tanu, of course, is also on his final days though, so I'm hoping that maybe we could have another baby between him and Kinkalin. She's probably quietly and desperately hoping that her next baby is going to have the healer's curiosity in them too. She can tell that ghosting, with his double claws, is not going to make a very good healer. He would be much better guarding the territory, and perhaps saving other creatures from those carnivorous plants too. I wonder if she thinks that her father's mad desire to protect his family has even affected the babies in her nest. Since ghosting would easily be accepted into Comet's champions, maybe she wonders if Comet is paying them a bit of extra attention now. So she's going to have to find a way to gain Vankir's favor again, and we know the only way to do that is by collecting his food. First things first though, so we don't run out of time, let's bring Tanu right over here, so we can have her breed with him, hopefully, and then go ahead and repair that broken nest. This was where Thor was born, and since he has all 3 of his gems now, she's safe to use this again. We're allowing 2 nests per stinky fruit tray, so this will be her last baby until ghosting grows. I think we could probably have Tanu go ahead and collect the last couple of fruits from this plant. If he swipes at it one more time, that will still leave one last one of those red fruits left over, so this plant isn't in danger of growing back yet. I think that's probably him trying to safeguard this area. I don't think we're going to collect that last little plant. Not until the nests are a bit further away, or until we find a better place to actually build our nurseries. I suppose in the long run it's not the best idea to build a nursery right next to the healer's glade, so maybe it's time for little Lynn to find a better place for her family. But we should be ready to skip the day now. So let's go back to our wanderers to make sure that nothing comes out to startle them. They are in the thickest of grass out here after all, so there is always the potential for danger. But so far so good. Aside from the fact that they have a few carnivorous plants of their own to deal with, it looks like they're doing okay. So before we have Sirena call out for help, let's see what the new little baby looks like. A new little baby with the cracker jaw even, and I think I do see those nimble fingers too. So maybe Vankir has actually heard your pleas. Little Melanie might be the daughter you were waiting for all along. It all depends if she shows the same spark of curiosity as you do. Interesting how, yet again, she is completely patternless too, just like her mother and just like her grandmother. This seems a rather common trait amongst healers, which is strange considering the very first one had that beautiful mask of his. I wonder if that will return once we finally do pull the purse now out of their genetics. And it looks like they are carrying it in their inactive traits, just like ghosting. And you have your second gem now too. So as we give you the orange one in the middle to show that you are indeed part of Comet's champions. I wonder if he's going to take this as his chance to investigate all the commotion. As we have Sirena sing out from high atop the stump, calling desperately for some sort of help. Though it seems nobody has heard her. Nobody knew, at least. We know that you guys are going to be listening. We could actually have Akio jump ahead too. We'll have him claw away at all of the weeds that he can reach, just so Isra can make her way further down the path as her energy continues to fade. Thanks to that heat as well, she only has 2 turns worth of energy to use. So as she stumbles over to the healing fruit, I wonder if he's even trying to get her to munch on this thing, as if that's going to magically reverse the clock. I think he's desperate enough to try anything at this point. He might actually need our wizened healers to come over just to talk some sense into him. I'm sure that Isra isn't really getting through to him at all. So with Tanu right by the nest on his very final day. Ooh, that's not very good though, is it? Is the bluebird still around? Oh, it looks like the bluebird has actually left us. Interesting. I wonder if maybe that's even Bandersnatch's doing. It was awfully far away from his path, of course. But I wonder if he can even protect the skies too. Anything to keep his family from falling into the talons of danger. So that means little Lynn should be fine to work her way deeper into the darkness, and she can bring ghosting right at her side. We might have him claw away at the weeds as well, as she slips forward to see what all of this commotion is about. There she'll find Isra, too tired to even move a step more. And as Lynn has seen so many of her family pass away, she probably knows exactly what's happening here. There's really nothing more that they can do. They can only be by her side as she spends her final night on this island. We'll have her go ahead and clear away the grasses here, refusing to eat the healing fruit, but still wanting to make sure that her son, Akio, will be able to find it in the future. At this point, I feel like she would probably consider these kids to be her own flesh and blood. They've been together for so long now, it's only fitting that she tells them on her final day. And likewise, Tanu, why don't you come in over here to pick a couple more of these smelly fruits? He probably figures that would make a pretty good snack for Melanie, though he's finding himself getting pretty tired as well. Then we have you, Thor. You who must be very, very nervous at the moment. Oh, with those bunnies skittering around the background, with the feeling of eyes pressing down on the back of your neck. Why don't you just go ahead and gently grab as many poison berries as you can, maybe as like a defense against these spirits, as if you can just lob poison berries at them to keep them away. Probably not going to work as well as you're hoping, but let's scoot you over here. That way you'll have a little bit more food to eat, and that way you can shelter yourself around all of these big cozy trees. You even have another carnivorous plant out here? I'm not sure if we saw that one before. Even that one is friendly too. It's almost as if this place was truly made for Bandersnatch, but he just didn't find it in time. Honestly, it's no wonder that he's haunting this place so deeply. But let's go ahead and skip the day again, as we very sadly say goodbye to Isra herself, as she passes away amongst the weeds. And as poor little Tanu passes away too, leaving Melanie all on her own in that nest. Thankfully, the bluebird has yet to come back, so she is technically safe. But I wonder if ghosting, since he is meant to be some sort of protector, would notice her right away. We'll have him turn around so we can settle down next to the nest too, ensuring her safety and comforting her while their mother is busy. Poor Lynn doesn't even realize. Here she is helping this family grieve, and when she comes home, she's going to have some grieving of her own to do too. Well, before Sirena lets out any songs of mourning, let's have them sniff around again. Yes! Oh, I was hoping we would see somebody in the darkness. Now that we only have 6 creatures in our tribe, we are sure to see plenty more wanderers out here. I wonder if ghosting would actually be the one to notice this creature. With again, his mother so busy right now, ghosting is probably on high alert, but he knows that he can't leave his little sister behind. So let's have him settle down inside this nest instead. Probably trying to keep her safe, standing in front of her so the strange wanderer won't find her first. Ooh, he slithered off into the darkness too. Interesting. We're definitely going to have ghosting investigate that. For now though, Sirena, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and let out a song of mourning for your lost mother. I'm sure it will be carried to her even in the afterlife. I wonder if it might even help if we gathered up a few of these twirly little weeds. Maybe as an offering to Solaris, so he could ferry that song straight to her instead. Isra might not be a deity, but I wonder if they would consider him a messenger for the deceased as well. When he's not carrying those very important messages to the gods, at least. It's nice to see that this little sapling is growing back as well. And that makes me think you guys probably are going to want to find a good berry bush to use pretty soon to set her remains to rest too. So Lynn, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you could help them by gathering up some of the weeds out here. As the bunnies sneak around in the distance, maybe we should actually follow them. They would probably lead us to a pretty good berry bush to use. Let's have Akio come on over here so we can grab these weeds as well, clearing a pretty decent pathway for his sister. Ooh, as the toxic-bodied ghost lurks in the background, he's getting even closer to the nest now. Yeah, he must be pretty curious about everything going on out here. I wonder if he's curious why these babies were left alone. And I wonder if Melanie is just as curious about him. Well, one last piece of this swirly jungle grass ought to do the trick. And then you can come on back to the nest on the next turn. Oh, wait a second, he's a little thief. Oh no, he is going to steal every last one of our healing fruits. Oh my gosh, I wonder if he's sick? Or if maybe somebody he knows is sick. Maybe even injured by the carnivorous plants themselves. Oh, we have so many healing fruits over here too. What are the odds that he's going to leave them alone? Well, Thoras, you grab some more of those poison berries. Yep, there's the sound of our second healing fruit being devoured by this greedy Gus. Greedy little frog. Let's see if he decides to hop out into the open now. If he can find a way to worm past all of these trees at least. I wonder if he can even sense this one in the distance too. Oh, little Lynn is going to be furious when she comes back. She has more than just grieving to do. Now she has a thief to conquer too. Is he still lurking in the darkness? Is he still watching us from afar? Oh, he seems to have disappeared. I wonder if he's moving down the shore. Honestly, he's probably just going wherever the food is. I noticed that he also had one of the digging paws, so he would be a pretty useful member of our tribe, but only if he's not going to steal all of our medicines. That is certainly not a good way to get on the healer's good side. Well, let's go ahead and skip the day again, and we'll see if the kids can track him down. Because I believe Melanie should have her second gem now. Lynn would probably prefer that she would stay over here by the nest, so she can teach her properly how to heal, of course. But I think she's a little bit more curious about this adventure that her brother is about to go on. The only question is, what would be the best way for them to get into the darkness? I know for sure that this plant right here is still very much in the red, so if we're not careful, one of these kids could get scooped up. I'm sure that ghosting could probably take care of it, but I think that's going to have to come when he has his third gem. That would actually be a pretty good test of his strength, I guess. His might as one of Comet's champions. If he can successfully take down one of these carnivorous plants, surely even the god of sacrifice himself would smile down upon him. But he would have to find a willing teammate first. So really, I think their only shot at finding this wanderer is probably coming back down this pathway. We'll have Melanie scoot to his side too. You might have to tear down some of those weeds though. It looks like they're still pretty thick out here. Now I still don't see a silhouette, but I also don't see anything dangerous, so let's have Melanie jump into this mud pile. We might even have her roll around in it too, maybe to disguise her scent. That way this wanderer won't even notice them coming. And that'll give Lynn time to go back and survey the damage as she leads everyone back to their home. Akio, who's even weakening himself? 2 days remaining. Oh, Sirena, are you going to have to say goodbye to your brother next? You know, I'm not sure that she's actually ready to leave this stump. Maybe we'll have her send out a few more songs. Some sort of prayer to the deities, I guess, as she pleads with them not to take every last member of her family from her. Well, let's bring you over to the stinky fruit tree, Akio. Kankalin doesn't really know of very many berry bushes that you could use, but she does know of some pretty good food sources. We'll have you settle down inside this nest, and I think we'll have Lynn settle down inside this one. Now she can truly mourn over her lost mate, and even the loss of her healing fruits too. Poor Thor, I wish we could find somebody to spend some time with you back here, because you are probably going crazy in your own mind right now. Constantly hearing noises, feeling somebody watching you. If only you had somebody by your side to put your mind at ease. Somebody to actually watch your back. Maybe he'll get lucky on the next turn. There's always a chance that somebody could spawn out there too. Now one last time, Sirena, let out your next mournful song, pleading for the deity's attention, and then we should be ready to skip the day again. So I guess we'll stay back here with the kids just to see if they can track down this wanderer next. The longer he stays in the darkness, the more likely it is that he might just slip away. So let's have Ghosting take the lead again. With his big nose, he'll definitely be able to smell any danger in the darkness. Oh, and another little healing fruit too. Do you think maybe that wanderer is trying to steal that one as well? Oh, there's a permanent nest back here. Oh, there is quite a bit for you two to discover. I'm really surprised that we're not finding him yet, though. Is he that well hidden in the grass? Oh my gosh! Sirena! Oh, your songs did attract some attention, though maybe not the kind that you were looking for. All the same, a peaceful bear? That's not such a bad thing to have on your side. We do have enough nesting material to pay him too, so I wonder if you would be willing to come a little bit closer. Well, since we know that the peaceful bear is going to stay stationary, let's go back to the kids just to make sure. Yeah, looks like the wanderer was definitely over here. I think he probably stole that root straight out of the ground. Where are you though? Are you trapped in the water? I wonder if he's down by the shore. Branch! Poor little Branch, the green frog! Oh, he's drowning out here. He must have gotten pulled in by the waves when he was sneaking around to grab a few more of those healing fruits. Oh my gosh, Ghosting, I hope you can save him in time. We might still be able to save him entirely if we get him out of that water and bring him back to Lynn. The question is, would she be willing to give him more of her healing fruits? I mean, given the fact that she is a very serious healer, I think she would overlook that bias. She would be willing to put her own emotions aside as long as it would bring her patient back to health. Though once he is healthy again, then I guess it wouldn't matter so much anymore. Now, Akio, you're on your final day too? Oh my gosh, how much death are we going to have in this episode? So many different generations are just dropping like flies now. I wonder if he's come to terms with it, or if seeing Isra pass truly tore him apart that much. Well, all we can really do right now is have you go ahead and pick up some of those stinky fruits for us. As many as you can possibly carry. I guess we'll have Lynn lick off those stinky fruit juices as she gathers a few more of these weeds. I guess that's really all that she can do right now, too. Her kids are off on some adventure. She's still mourning over the loss of her mate. And aside from that, she needs to make sure that nobody else takes these medicines. Now as we head back to Thor to grab a few more of his morsels too, as he pretty much single-handedly feeds every last member of our tribe. Unfortunately, still nobody out here for you to meet. but that's not the case for you, Sirena. Let's have you step down from your stump so you can tap this peaceful bear on the shoulder, or maybe just nose curiously around his big lumbering form. These bears are so docile that I think she would be able to tell quite quickly that he's not here to attack her. So maybe she would even offer up a few of those swirly weeds, the very same ones that she wanted to give to Solaris, but I guess they found a better home now. It's almost as if the peaceful bear heard her song of mourning. It's strangely similar to when Isra appeared herself. It makes me wonder if maybe the peaceful bear is even possessed by her spirit, coming back to ensure that her little baby is going to be okay, and there's no need for those sad songs anymore. So maybe Solaris did actually carry that message all the way to Isra, and maybe Mooneye and Crescent are deities of rebirth. We're even touched by that too. It makes me wish that Akio was still there too, so he would be able to see the peaceful bear with his own eyes. But as his final day has come, all he can hope is to find Isra in the afterlife. There are so many skeletons surrounding this place now, surrounding this healer's glade. It has to be a little bit unnerving for anybody who comes here just for actual healing. And I guess pretty soon that's going to be Branch. As long as he's still out here, yeah, he's still trapped in the tides. And as long as there's no other dangers that we need to take care of first. So far, it looks like everything is still good. So Melanie, why don't we have you rush out to the shore? If you truly have the heart of a healer inside you, then this is where you're going to shine. We'll have you thrust your claw into the water to try to pull him out from the waves. Oh, I wonder if he was trying to go for the water-breathing plant? The poor thing, and the tide must have just dragged him away. Well, let's get you out of the water before we do anything else. Drag you on up to the shores so you can finally breathe that fresh air again. Oh, the poor thing. I guess we probably want ghosting to clear out a pathway for him. We can tear at all these weeds, select the path of least resistance so we can get to those healing fruits faster. This area is pretty much blocked off, so we might actually have to wrap our way around the shore. Though with that carnivorous plant just lurking right on the shoreline too, I'm not really sure if we want to risk it. Yeah, let's have ghosting cut the path this way, and we'll have Melanie urge him on. Branch can settle down right in the grasses here, right next to his permanent nest, and hopefully we can get him over to that final healing fruit. Oh, actually? Why don't we bring him over to this one? Maybe Melanie herself could take care of him. We don't even need little Lynn's help. That way, when they finally bring him back to the main camp, she might not even recognize that he was the one who stole her precious fruits in the first place. He'll just be some mysterious stranger from the jungle, and he can repay them by gathering some of those roots. So in the next episode, hopefully the kids will be able to ferry him straight back to the heart of the camp. And hopefully we can figure out what to do with this peaceful bear too. Now that she should be connected with Sirena, it would be awfully nice if she would follow her back to the nursery. But it seems like Sirena might actually have to make a home out here instead. Maybe this will be her way to finally find those berry bushes, so she can set the remains of her entire family to rest. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!